So welcome back for Nightcap with Ty. Tonight we're gonna talk about a little conversation with your kids, and pretty much like you know how they always talk about, you need to know somebody love language and all that bullshit. So for all your kids, it's like you need to know their language, because if you don't understand your child language, sometimes you can't get that connection. What I mean is, you know your child, you know what that connection, you know what they like, you know what that music, and if you want to connect, you got to be able to connect with your child, because they different stages in their life. So some parents right now trying to figure out how can they connect with their child. And I was listening to somebody else, and it kind of make a little, a little makes sense. Like sometimes if you what she was saying, like sneak attacking, don't, especially like in a kind of like, if you, what I mean sneak attacking is, your kids did something, you saying something, you about to drop them off, and you sneak attack them, and you say some slick shit, and you know they about to get out. So basically, all they're gonna do is think about that shit you did that morning all day, cause you got your last word in, but that day fucked up now because you didn't put that bad vibe in them. Sometimes you can your child want to distance yourself from you because sometimes it's not that we don't want to be parents, but we nag and shit. So it's always like do this and do that. Sometimes you got to tell them about some of the good shit they did, but but also we got to let them know what they didn't do. But they don't. It's like sometimes that connection is always about what they didn't do. With what they need to do, and we gotta get our point across. But sometimes it's the way you go about it. Sometimes you don't want to, you dropping your kids off at school, had a conversation maybe when they get home, because you don't want to have them on their mind all day, and I had to learn from that, let them come home, then have that conversation, if you about to go to school, drop them off, tell them you love them first, then like I said, so they can have that in their head. Then when you go, you have that discussion, 'cause like I said, sometimes they don't, because all they associate is with what they didn't do, what they need to do in the conversation. So sometimes they can get anxiety because it's always that. And like I said, I'm not asking you not to be a parent because we got to be a parent. Sometimes we just need to stop going back to the past shit, what they did, what they used to do, or talk about that present at hand. But as a parent, you're gonna say, look, I done told your ass 30,000 times about these motherfucking clothes. And you're like, why? I keep telling you about this shit. What's the problem? Why like I said, they can always associate when you want to have a conversation about, even men, a conversation, like if it's always about some negative, we don't want to talk about negative shit all the time. So you got to find that connection with your child. I don't know, each child is different. You got to figure out that language of discussion, so you can get in them in their heads, and so you're gonna you'll be able to come to her and have that conversation, about things that is always gonna be that in between distant. You don't want to be distant, so but as parents, and I think we go off of the past shit, like with our parents always want to have the same, the last words, as children, they still have a voice. We might not like the shit, but, there's a way about it. They still got to be respectful doing it, So let them talk, let them get their shit off, but be respectful about it. I know back in the day, even my generation is like, damn, my word is what the hell I mean. And I agree, your word is what you mean, or what you say, but they should still have a voice of how they feel. You might not like it, but I just think a lot of from the past, my father's generation, and we carried some of it on today with my generation, and I think sometimes in some instances it did mess some of the kids up, out thinking, because sometimes, like I said, some kids might not want to be out, don't want to be, can't express of certain things just because of our values of how our past parents was. you know, how they felt, you know how it was. Like, what I say, ain't no back talking. I don't want to hear nothing, Yeah, but I mean, after me understanding and realizing, you know, yeah, maybe they need a voice at some point, but just the way you go about the shit. But at the end of the day, still, what the hell I say? But I mean, I don't mind hearing what you got to say. But I mean, I think that's probably a lot of reason why, being in our generation, took on what our parents did. You know, we don't even know some of us need psychologists and shit like that. There's not nothing wrong if you need to talk about things and get the shit off your head, because sometimes it be bottled up in you. You know, we don't even know. We think it's just normal life, and that's just part of we be going through. But really, it's just like sometimes you need to talk about that shit. Sometimes you need to get it out. You know, you need to talk about it with somebody you don't know, like a therapist, just to help you understand it and process that shit. But you know, like I said, this is little nightcap time. You know, little life coaching and somebody. I get life coaching, but I'm just wanted to bring it to some of these parents. Like I said, find your language with your child, and how can you, relate to them. It could be through music, through food, have a conversation, whatever your child language is of love or conversation. You have to find it, and it's not all about attacking them when they about to go for school. It's how to get to them. But take their ass to the Apple store, sit in the Apple store for an hour, have a conversation. You know what I mean? Maybe that phone is that damn love language. Take them to the Apple store. Then don't buy them no phone. But I'm just saying, once you figure it out, you can talk about it more. Peace and blessings.